Thank you for joining our webinar today. My name is Paul, and I'm accompanied here by my co-conspirator, Matt Penfold. I know Guy Fawkes was just a few days ago, but I think it's relevant. But today we're going to talk about how you can move to Gibraltar, and Matt is going to explain, the way forward. So, Matt, what would you tell listeners, UK nationals who are, considering making this move to Gibraltar and they're not convinced yet?
Okay.
How can you make the move to Gibraltar, basically?
Okay. Thank you, Paul. Thank you for that introduction, but I'll take it as a positive. Okay. Yeah. So, often or occasionally people will approach us, or I've had conversations with people and they think, okay, I'm going to move to Gibraltar. I'm going to, travel over, get my place, and that's it. I'm a UK national. And I can live in Gibraltar as a UK overseas territory. That's not necessarily the case. Well, it's not the case. You have to apply for residency, and there's a process to go through. And the requirements for residency have become a bit more stringent over the last few years. Kind of post-Brexit, we've had more people coming here to Gibraltar as it's more difficult to move to the EU. And post-COVID, a lot of people came here when there was more working remotely, those sort of things where maybe location was less important. So they've tightened up the rules. And in reality, there's 4 pathways to residency here in Gibraltar. So I will go through those. The first one is for UK state pensioners. So if you're in receipt of a UK state pension, you can transfer your UK state pension and your medical rights from the UK to Gibraltar. We have another video we recorded recently where Paul talks a little bit about that process. The second one is the Category 2 scheme. So you may come across this. The Category 2 scheme is aimed at high net worth individuals. And annually, you pay a maximum amount of tax. If you've got a lot of income coming through, that could be very tax efficient for you. Maybe those with more passive incomes, it's maybe not the right route for you. I think with all the residency routes, it's important to have that conversation to understand which is the best for you in your situation. But the Category 2 scheme is one of those. There's certain requirements for the Category 2 scheme. We won't go into the kind of minutiae today. The third route is if you're employed in Gibraltar. So you're employed by a local company here. That can be via a normal contract, or you can be employed under the HEP scheme. That's high executives possessing specialist skills. I've got that one right, Paul. That was a bit of a mouthful today.
Correct. Yeah.
So you come under the HEP scheme. You have to demonstrate that you fit the criteria for that. There's a minimum salary you need to be earning, and you can benefit from tax breaks on that. You only pay income tax on initial levels of your salary. So it's a very generous scheme that. Or you can come here just employed via the normal route. You have a job here in Gibraltar. You don't qualify for HEPs, but you're employed by a local scheme and you can apply for residency on that basis. And the final route is if you're self-employed in Gibraltar. And from our experience, this is a category that people are aiming towards quite a lot at the moment, but you have to be legitimate self-employed. The civil servants or the government assessing these applications will look at this in detail. You have to demonstrate what trade you are offering, that you maybe have the qualifications and the skills to do that, that maybe you already have the clientele to do that, or how you're going to achieve that. So you can't just say, okay, I'm going to come here and, I don't know, this is an extreme example, but sell lemonade outside of my property. And yes, I'm technically self-employed because I sell 2 cups. No, they want to make sure that somebody is coming here. They're going to be bringing in income that they will then pay taxation on Gibraltar, which obviously kind of pays for contributes to the economy. So the self-employed is a route to go down. It's a little bit more complicated than others to meet the criteria. There's a few boxes you need to tick here. You do need an office address here, which we can help people with as well. But in reality, there's the 4 pathways. To add kind of a bit of context to this, there was a pathway which was self-sustainability. And this was in the past, you could come to Gibraltar, you could demonstrate that you've got enough money to sustain your lifestyle on here. This could be savings, maybe UK rental properties, pensions, investments. But that door is effectively closed. It was, I think the official is that it was postponed, but it was postponed 4 or 5 years ago and not likely to come on board, quite simply because people are coming to Gibraltar, not really paying much tax, but then obviously, using public services, hospital beds, other services. So just to kind of summarize the 4 routes, you've got UK state pensioners. This is the only route that is only open to UK nationals. All the other routes, UK nationals and EU nationals are treated the same. So you've got transfer your UK medical rights, the Category 2 scheme, employed in Gibraltar, or self-employed in Gibraltar. Now, if you'd like to learn more about that and how we can make that happen for you, then feel free to reach out to us at Fiduciary Wealth, and we'll be more than happy to have a conversation with you about that. Wonderful. Paul, sorry, I thought you were going to add something, but no, that's great. So feel free to get in touch. All the best. Goodbye.